What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock, what you should be looking out for the future, what's going on in the pre-market. I'm going to break down SPY and the QQQ and a couple of tickers out there like Netflix, talk about what's going on with the price analysts right now, what's happening with the news that just came out, and what the data is telling us right now for the markets, and what these technicals are telling us for market open and the price action to come very, very soon. Before I break anything down in this pre-market update, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. And finally, don't forget about the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 10 free stocks, and any could be a free Tesla share. The offer ends very soon. It ends in just about 7 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. All right, guys, so we're seeing a lot of green in the pre-market. Netflix is up pretty big after getting some price upgrades. SPY is pretty flat right now. It's still continuing to range trade, and we're going to be watching for confirmation of the bigger move based off the current levels. I'm going to break down the levels in a couple of minutes. Also, Tesla's continuing to pump very, very hard after we saw confirmation that Elon Musk will not be the CEO of Twitter, and it's continuing to hold up quite nicely. So I'm going to break down some important levels for Tesla, talk about the QQQ as well, what you should be watching for based off the news. The news has come out and said that the futures were pretty flat, which was true earlier on, but now they're still quite flat, but a little bit in the green simultaneously, not too big. And on top of that, there's news coming out that we're seeing big moves from like Coinbase and Netflix and even GME. GME has earnings very soon, so get ready for that. I'm expecting lots of volatility. GameStop has earnings after the market closes, by the way. When it comes to Netflix, I believe there was a big bank that came out. It should say it's somewhere over here, as they got a big upgrade for their price target. And the same thing happened to Amazon. That's why Amazon is quite green right now. Not extremely green, but just a little bit. JP Morgan, that was the bank I was referring to. They increased their price target on uh, Netflix, and they're saying that it has a lot of potential to move forward. So once again, we're getting some nice upgrades right now. We had a big update from the SEC involving Coinbase. There's so much coming out, and that's why Coinbase is up just a little bit. I want to warn you guys that the fear and greed index is a little bit hot right now, so I'd be very careful as the market's very close to resistance, but that does not guarantee anything, right? The past could give us more information about what's going to happen in the future, but it does not guarantee anything because you have to watch for confirmation as always. I know I sound very robotic when I say that in a way because, once again, I'm continuing to reiterate the importance of watching the levels, and that's because the market is very, very flat, stuck between support and resistance, and that's why it's very important to watch for that, despite how overbought, overextended, and how greedy the markets are right now. Now, there are some talks right now about us being in a bull market. Let me just reiterate, I don't care about us being in a bull market or a bear market or anything like that. You could call it a kangaroo market, a koala market, whatever you want. I don't really care because I'm just looking at the charts. I'm going to be watching confirmation. I'm going to be watching supply and demand zones. I'm going to be watching what the data tells us. And that's what's more important to me in real time. I don't care about the market making new lows or new highs right now. I'm just watching the current levels because we are pretty tight right now. And it's very important to look at it in a very objective manner. Now, when being patient, we're going to be looking at some data. For the data, the 30-year mortgage rate came out very close to expectations, very close to where it was previously. Applications are a little bit down, still not as down as what the previous report was, and overall pretty decent data. The imports and exports came out very close to expectations on the export side. The imports were a little bit lower than the forecast, but they were higher than the previous report. So the market's very flat on this, not responding too much, and there's not much else data. Now, don't forget we have big earnings later on, but now let's break down these charts. So let's start off with Netflix, just very briefly. Netflix has a very big green candle. It's going to be watching resistance around this 416 area. If that breaks, it could get closer to 420. If it breaks that, 425 could come. If it breaks down, you're going to be watching support right here, which is where the previous zone was, around the 410 area. And if that breaks down, 404.65 followed by 400 flat could come. Watch these levels carefully. I know it's pumping for the time being because of the bullish news that came out, but be careful with it. For SPY, if we're bullish, okay, it's currently at about 428.47, fighting some resistance at 428.5. The major resistance is going to be at about 429. So watch 429 very, very carefully. It's a very important zone. If 429 breaks, if we manage to get a clean break above this level and it manages to continue to pump, you're going to be watching it get closer to the high we made previously at 429.62 right over here. So if 429 breaks, you're going to be watching that. If that breaks, then 430 is going to come. This entire 429 to 430 zone has strong resistance, especially 430. So be very careful if it does try to break this. If it manages to break 430 in a very strong manner, that's going to be a bullish signal, and it's going to likely continue to pump to 431.5 to 433. Now, if it breaks down, let's just say it fails to get the confirmation of a hold above 429 to 430. If it fails to do that and it just continues to chop around, watch this chop zone right over here. You're seeing how it's bouncing back and forth between the support and resistance. And if it breaks down, you're going to be watching some support at 428. Not extremely significant. The more significant support's at 427.5. If 427.5 breaks, this thing is going to come all the way down to 426.5. And that's not super significant compared to 426 flat. 426 is very significant. If that breaks, if we get a very clean break below that, there's some chop between 425 to 426, but I don't expect it to hold. I'd be anticipating it to drop even lower into the lower 420s, approaching 423. That's where our previous gap was. So that's the reason why you got to watch these levels very carefully. For now, it's very, very sideways, right? Not much going on from the technical side. We're a little bit overbought or close to overbought territory on the 4 hour, but once again, there's no confirmation of either direction, and that's why you have to watch these levels for the confirmation. For Tesla's continuing, excuse me, sorry guys. Tesla's continuing to pump, okay? It's once again continuing to look very, very strong. It's currently at 228 right now, so very, very strong level. If Tesla breaks to the upside, 229 is going to be very, very significant. Tesla's going to be fighting this 229 to 230 area. 230 is the very, very significant resistance, and 229 is a little bit significant too. This entire zone right here is going to be a little tough for Tesla to break, but it's going to be fighting for it. If it breaks 230, that's going to be very bullish. It is going to fly to 233 pretty quickly, in my opinion, if it holds 230 very strongly. Now, let's just say it fails to do so and it starts like trending downwards, hypothetically. You're going to be watching this 227 as support. That's going to be major, major support. If 227 fails us during a break below 228, if it breaks all the way down, you're going to be watching 224.69 to 225. That zone right over there. If that breaks, 222.74, followed by 221 and then 218. Those are also major support zones. So what am I seeing for Tesla right now? The trend is still strong on the 4 hour and also on the 1 hour. It's still very strong. There's no sign of major weakness, and it's trending well above the 5 EMA. Tesla looks like it's going to try to make its way closer to about this 230 area. If it manages to break this, that is going to be strong, but it's going to be some very tight resistance. So watch 230 very, very carefully. This entire 229 to 230 zone is where it has the resistance specifically, but 230 specifically is the very, very strong resistance. I'm going to be watching this carefully. Make sure you watch these levels. The trend is very strong, which is great, but Tesla is very overbought. On the 4 hour, RSI is at 80. So that's what's risky about it. The RSI is at 77 on the 1 hour. It's overbought, but it's still strong. There's no true sign of weakness. So I'm going to watch this very carefully. Tesla's been pumping because, once again, it's confirmed that Elon Musk will not be the CEO of Twitter. It's 100% confirmed now. We got the confirmation, and Tesla's loving it because Elon Musk will have more time for Tesla. Now, for the QQQ, for now, it's very, very, choppy and sideways. 355.5 to 356 is where we have some resistance. 356 is a very important level. If it breaks and holds that, it's going to see 357.5. If it breaks down, okay, you're going to be watching some support at about the major support zones around 354 flat. If that breaks, there's 353. 353 is very important because if it breaks below that in a strong manner, not like a little touch like this, not like a wick, a very strong break below 353, and this thing is going to come tumbling down, and there's going to be confirmation of this head and shoulders like pattern. But for now, there's not confirmation of it, and we're just stuck in this range. I mean, just look at the range for the last like 48 hours. It's just been going back and forth and back and forth. Nothing's really happening with it. So we're just going to continue to assume this range will hold until we get a clean break in one of the directions. But for now, very, very choppy. There's nothing going on the technical side. It's just back and forth on the 1 hour. Same thing with the 4 hours, so it's very boring. Watch support and resistance very carefully. This will affect Tesla too. Let me also note that NEO is down almost 1%, but it's trending above the 50 EMA. If that breaks, the next major support's around 7.5. I want to call out NEO because I like the setup personally. Uh, Overall, in the 4 hour, it looks bullish to me. Looks like it's forming a cup and handle. We also have an inverse head and shoulder like pattern, and it looks to me like we have these imbalances. It's going to try to make its way up. Now, not financial advice, but I think there's a good chance NEO is going to try to break at least $8 to 8.2 as it approaches earnings or even after earnings because of some pumps due to like new expectations or guidance. Something may pump it. The odds greatly favor that based off this technical setup, and the technicals look good for it. It is a little cool right now. It may even cool off a little bit more, but there's a good chance it's going to try to continue to pump. Finally, for Coinbase, it's a little bit green after the SEC update. It needs to break 54 though. 54 is going to be very important. If it manages to break and hold that, 55 to 56 is going to have some resistance. Then it's going to make its way to this imbalance at about 58 if it manages to break those resistance zones. If it fails to do so, support is going to be, it's currently at about 52.8. The major support's at 50, and then after that comes 48. For Aapl, it's just very tight. It's trying to hold above the 50 EMA. If it breaks above this and holds, we could see 180 as resistance. Break that, then 180.8 is going to be watched. It's very tight right now, very, very tight. So watch it very carefully. Watch support and resistance and the 50 EMA. Nvda is a little green. It's up about 1.7 dollars. Very flat, testing this trend line. If it breaks it, we could see this thing make its way up to 395. If it just fails to do so, it could just chop around between the zone again. 385 is going to be support, followed by 381.5. If that fails us, 377 will come. So I want to see this thing hold above this trend line, break above this zone right here, and make its way closer to 395. I'm hoping for that, but it's very tight, so we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, guys, that's what I have for the video. Get ready for the market open. Right now, things are looking very sideways. Tesla still has lots of strength, but watch resistance as it gets closer to 230. Major, major resistance right there. All right, guys. So thank you for listening. Have a great day. Get ready for the market open. It's almost here, about 30 minutes away at the time I'm recording this. And I'll see you guys in the later video for the intraday update. Thank you. Tesla to the moon alongside the whole market, and peace out.